A single human ship arrives, leaving an alien girl speechless above her world. The sky above Lyrian was calm, painted with slow-moving stars and soft bands of light. Scifi floated in the upper observation ring, her body secured by a thin gravity field. She had done this watch since she was young. It was quiet work. Most nights passed with nothing more than dust clouds and distant signals that meant nothing. Lyrian was a peaceful world. Its people lived near wide oceans and tall crystal hills. They studied space because space often came to them. Traders, scholars, and sometimes soldiers crossed their skies. Every visitor followed the same pattern. They arrived in groups. They announced themselves with power. They wanted something. Scifi knew all the shapes of foreign ships. She knew their engine sounds and their light trails. Her teachers had drilled these lessons into her. Never trust a silent sky. Never trust a lone signal. Danger liked to hide behind calm. That was why she noticed the change right away. At first, it was not a ship. It was an absence. One star faded, then vanished, as if something had passed in front of it. Scifi leaned closer to the glass, her eyes narrowing. The system showed no warning, no jump signal, no energy burst. Then, space bent. It was slow and smooth, like water parting around a moving stone. Something large slipped through, not tearing the sky but folding it gently aside. Scifi felt her breath catch. A ship appeared. It was alone. It did not shine with bright weapons or flashing lights. It did not carry escorts or drones. It simply existed, vast and steady, hanging above Lyrian like a silent thought. Its hull was dark, not black but deep gray, marked with fine lines that caught the starlight. The shape was strange. Not sharp, not curved, but balanced, as if built by hands that cared about harmony as much as strength. Scifi stared. Her hands trembled slightly. "Control, this is Observer Scifi," she said, forcing her voice to stay calm. "Unknown vessel detected. Single contact. No jump trace." The reply came fast. "Repeat, Observer. Single contact," Scifi said again. "No fleet, no broadcast. Size exceeds known standards." Around her, other observers began to speak. The room filled with quiet tension. Screens lit up. Scanners swept across the ship, then swept again. Nothing aggressive returned. No weapon lock, no threat signal, no demand. That was worse. Scifi had seen warships before. They were loud and proud. They wanted fear. This ship did not ask for attention. This has moved closer, stopping just beyond Lyrian's upper orbit. The vessel moved closer, stopping just beyond Lyrian's upper orbit. It chose the position carefully, far enough to show respect, close enough to show intent. Scifi felt a strange pressure in her chest. Not fear, not excitement, but something heavy and new. "It's waiting," she whispered. The ship sent a signal. It was simple. A clean pulse, easy to translate. No layered codes, no hidden threats. The system decoded it in seconds. "This is a human exploration vessel. We request permission to enter stable orbit. We come in peace." Scifi's mind froze. Human. She had heard the name before. Humans were rare in stories. They were far from Lyrian's region of space. Few records existed. The ones that did were unclear. Some called them survivors. Others called them mad. All agreed on one thing: humans were hard to predict. And now one of their ships was here.
Alone. The council chamber filled with low voices.
Leaders argued softly, trying to keep order. Scifi watched from the observation ring, her heart beating fast. She felt small, like a child again, staring up at a sky that suddenly felt deeper than ever. "Why only one ship?" one elder asked.
"It could be a trick," another said. "A scout. Or a test," a third replied.
"To see how we react."
Scifi thought of the ship's calm arrival, the gentle bend of space, the polite words of the message. None of it fit the patterns she knew. "They asked," she said quietly. The room fell still.
"They did not demand," Scifi continued.
They did not threaten, they asked. The elders looked at her. She felt heat rise in her face, but she did not look away. After a long moment, the council leader spoke. Grant limited orbit, no weapons activation. Observe closely. The reply was sent. Permission granted. Limited orbit only. The human ship responded at once. Thank you. We will comply. The vessel moved again, slow and careful. It slid into orbit like a guest taking a seat, not like a conqueror claiming ground. No weapons powered up, no shields flared. The ship simply settled into place. Sally realized she had been holding her breath. She let it out slowly. Hours passed. Nothing happened. The ship stayed silent. It did not scan cities. It did not send probes. It did not flood the network with data requests. It simply stayed there, steady and patient. Sally could not stop watching it. She studied every line of its hull, every small motion. She imagined the beings inside. What did humans look like? Were they tall? Short? Did they fear the same things she did? On board the human ship, Captain Evan Brooks stood on the command deck. He was an average man with tired eyes and calm hands. He looked at the image of Lyrian rotating slowly below. "Orbit stable," a crew member said. "Good," Evan replied. "Hold position." Another officer glanced at him.
No response yet? Evan nodded. They need time.
We gave them a surprise. The ship was quiet. There were no speeches, no cheers. The crew knew the weight of this moment. One ship, one chance. Avon rested his hand on the railing. Humanity had learned long ago that fear traveled faster than light. Fleets made enemies before words ever could. So they came alone now. Not because they were weak, but because they were confident. Back in the observation ring, Sally finally realized her hands were no longer shaking. Instead, she felt a strange pull, like curiosity turning into courage. The ship was still there, and for the first time in her life, the silence of space felt like an invitation. The human ship remained in orbit, silent and steady, as the hours turned into a full cycle of Lyrian's day. Light moved across the planet's oceans and cities, and still the vessel did nothing more than watch. This calm made many on Lyrian uneasy. Silence, to them, was often the space before disaster. Sally did not feel that fear. She felt something closer to wonder. She stayed in the observation ring longer than required, her shift long past complete. The council had not ordered her to leave, and she did not ask. Her eyes kept returning to the lone ship, floating like it had always belonged there. Inside the council chambers, debate grew louder. "They are patient," one elder said. "Too patient, or respectful," another replied. "They wait for us to speak. No power shows patience without reason," a third said. "Power waits because it knows it can." Sally listened through the shared channel, her face calm but her thoughts restless. She replayed the arrival again and again in her mind. The gentle fold of space, the careful distance, the simple words. They asked. The council finally reached a decision. Limited communication would be allowed. No data exchange beyond basic language and intent. No surface contact. The signal was prepared and sent. "Human vessel, this is the Lyrian Council. State your purpose in our system." The response came faster than expected. "We are explorers. We seek knowledge, not control. We wish to learn and to be known." Sally felt her breath stop. The words were plain, almost soft. There was no claim of greatness, no hidden threat. The council asked another question. Why only one ship? This time, there was a pause. Seconds stretched. Sally wondered if she had imagined the slight tension in the air. Then the reply arrived. "Because one is enough." The chamber fell silent. That answer spread through Lyrian's networks like a quiet shock. It was not a boast. It was not spoken with pride. It was simple, certain. Sally looked back at the ship.
She tried to imagine what kind of people believed one ship could face the unknown and remain calm. On the human vessel, Captain Evan Brooks watched the data feed with steady eyes.
Around him, his crew waited. Some were nervous. Some smiled. All of them trusted the choice that brought them here.
"They're cautious," said Lisa Morrow, the communications officer. Her voice was low.
But they're listening. Evan nodded. They should be cautious. We would be too.
Do we explain?
Another crew member asked. About why we travel like this.
"Not yet," Evan said. "Let them ask." Back on Lyrian, Saily found herself being summoned to the council chamber.
The request surprised her. Observers rarely spoke directly unless danger was clear.
She entered the chamber slowly, aware of many eyes on her. The elders sat in a wide circle, their expressions controlled. Observer Saily, the council leader said, you witnessed the arrival. You heard the words. Speak freely. Saily swallowed. She felt the weight of the moment press against her chest. Still, she spoke. They do not act like conquerors, she said. They did not hide. They did not rush. They asked for orbit and waited. If this is a trick, it is a strange one. Strange does not mean safe, an elder replied. No, Saily agreed. But fear does not mean danger either, murmurs spread. The leader raised a hand for silence.
"You believe they mean peace?" Sally looked down at her hands, then back up. "I believe they believe it."
That answer stayed with the council long after she left. Another message was sent. Human vessel, explain your choice to travel alone. This time, the response came with a request. Permission to send voice transmission. After a brief debate, the council agreed. Sound filled the chamber. A human voice, calm and clear, spoke through the translators. This is Captain Evan Brooks. Thank you for hearing us. We travel alone because fleets bring fear. Fear ends talks before they begin. One ship cannot threaten a world, but it can start a conversation. Saily felt something shift inside her. The voice did not sound strong or weak. It sounded human. An elder responded. Many species say such things before war. Evan's voice returned. Then judge us by what we do, not by what others have done. The honesty of that answer left no space for easy argument. Time passed. More questions followed. The humans answered them all. Where they came from, how long they had traveled, what they hoped to learn. They did not share weapon data. They did not hide the fact that they were capable of defense. They spoke like equals. Saily began to notice something else. The human ship never adjusted position without notice. Never shifted orbit without permission. Every move was announced in advance. Respect, she realized, was not spoken. It was shown. Some on Lyrian remained wary. Military leaders watched the ship with ready systems. Plans were drawn and redrawn, but no alarm sounded. Late in the cycle, something unexpected happened. A foreign signal entered the system. It was sharp and loud, cutting through Lyrian space with no care. Multiple ships followed it, their forms aggressive, their energy signatures hot. Saily recognized them at once. A nearby coalition known for taking what they wanted from smaller worlds. The council chambers erupted in tension. They must have detected the human ship, an elder said. They will see it as weakness. The coalition ships did not ask permission. They moved straight toward Lyrian's orbit. A broadcast followed. Lyrian system, power down defenses. Unidentified vessel, withdraw or be destroyed, Saily's heart pounded. She looked toward the human ship. It had not moved. The council sent a warning. This system is under observation. Withdraw, the coalition laughed. Their ships spread into attack formation. Inside the human vessel, alarms sounded softly. Evan Brooks stood tall, his face calm. Options? He asked. We can leave, Lisa said. That was always the plan if locals were threatened. Evan shook his head. Damn. Leaving would answer the wrong question. Then we act? Another officer asked. We protect, Evan said. Nothing more. The human ship powered up systems Lyrian had never seen. Space around it shimmered, not with force, but with control. The vessel moved forward, placing itself between the coalition fleet and the planet. A message went out. This is a protected world. Withdraw now. The coalition fired. What followed lasted less than 5 minutes. Saili watched in stunned silence as beams of precise energy struck coalition ships, disabling engines, weapons, and navigation. No explosions. No debris fields. Ships drifted, powerless but intact. The human vessel never chased, never destroyed. It simply stood its ground. The coalition retreated, dragging their disabled ships away in shame. Silence returned. The human ship powered down. Saili realized her hands were shaking again. But this time it was not fear. It was awe. The council spoke as one. Human vessel, you have acted without request. Evan's voice returned, steady. We acted because peace was threatened. If that was an error, we will depart. The council did not answer at once. Saili knew in that moment that Lyrian would never see the galaxy the same way again. Above her world, one human ship waited, not claiming victory, not asking thanks, just waiting. The days that followed were heavy with thought and quiet talk. Lyrian skies were calm again, but the feeling beneath them had changed. Everyone knew they had been protected by strangers who asked for nothing in return. The human ship stayed in orbit, exactly where it had been before the attack. It did not move closer. It did not move away. It was as if the ship wished to show that its action had not changed its place or its intent. Saili returned to the observation ring each day. She watched the ship as if it might speak again without sound. She replayed the battle in her mind, not for the danger, but for the control. The humans could have destroyed the coalition ships. Instead, they chose restraint. That choice stayed with her. Inside the council, the mood had shifted. Fear still existed, but it was no longer the loudest voice. They defended us, one elder said, without demand. They also showed power, another replied. Great power. Power does not always mean threat, the council leader said. Sometimes it means responsibility. A decision was forming, slow but steady. A new message was prepared. Human vessel, the council requests further dialogue. The response was immediate.
We are listening. This time, Saili was invited to join the communication team.
When she heard the request, she froze. Observers were not diplomats. She was trained to watch, not to speak. But the council leader had insisted. You understand what others missed. Saili stood before the transmission console, her heart racing. The screen lit up, showing a simple image of the human captain. Evan Brooks looked tired but calm. His eyes held no triumph, no hunger. Observer Saili, he said gently, using her name with care. It's good to speak again. She nodded, unsure how to answer at first. Captain Brooks, your actions have caused much discussion. He smiled faintly. That was expected. Some fear you, Saili said honestly. Others are grateful. Many are confused. That is fair, Evan replied. Confusion means you're thinking, the council leader spoke next. You intervened without request. Explain your rule. Evan did not hesitate. We do not interfere in conflicts, but we do not allow violence against those who welcome us peacefully. If we had stayed silent, our words would have meant nothing. Saili felt a quiet agreement rise inside her. Words without action were easy. Action without cruelty was rare.
Another elder leaned forward. You disabled ships without killing.
Why? Ivan's voice softened. Because every ship carries lives. Enemies are often just people who were taught fear before reason. That answer struck Saili deeply. Varian had taught her the same lesson but had rarely followed it beyond words. Trust grew slowly after that. Not full trust, but enough to open new doors. The council agreed to limited data exchange, cultural records, language roots, history, but not weapons. The humans accepted without complaint. Over the next cycles, Saili spent more time speaking with the human crew. Not face-to-face yet, but through long conversations. She learned their world had been harsh. Storms, wars, loss. Humanity had survived by adapting, by standing back up after every fall.
We learned the hard way, Lisa Mora once said through the link, that strength without care destroys everything, even the strong. Scifi shared Lyrian's history in return. Their oceans, their slow growth, their fear of empires. The humans listened without judgment. Still, many on Lyrian remained cautious. Military leaders pressed the council to ask the humans to leave now that danger had passed. Evan was ready for that outcome. He told his crew as much. "We came to learn," he said. "If they ask us to go, we go." No anger, no pride, just acceptance. But before a final decision could be made, new trouble appeared. Long-range sensors detected movement at the edge of the system, not ships. Signals, whispers traveling through space faster than rumor. Others had noticed. The coalition's retreat had not gone unseen. Stories spread quickly in the wider galaxy.
A single human ship had stopped a fleet.
Without killing, without claiming reward. Some saw that as hope. Others saw it as threat. Messages arrived. Distant powers asked questions. Some polite, some sharp. Who are the humans? Why do they travel alone?
Who gave them authority? The council felt pressure building from all sides.
Lyrian had become a point of attention. Scifi sensed the change before it was spoken. Birien manda vivea. She watched the stars and felt the weight of many eyes turning toward her world. Inside the human ship, Eben studied the incoming signals. "This was bound to happen," he said. "Do we leave?" Lisa asked.
Not yet, Evan replied. Leaving now would make Lyrian a target. Staying might do the same. Evan nodded.
Then we stayed just long enough to teach the right lesson. Another message arrived. This one was not a threat.
It was a challenge. A distant power demanded a demonstration.
Proof that humanity deserved its growing reputation. Scifi read the translated words and felt cold. Demonstrations often led to war. The council turned to the humans. "We will not ask you to fight for us again," the leader said. "But your presence has changed our place in the galaxy," Evan responded with care. "We did not intend that, but we accept responsibility for what follows." He made a choice that surprised even his crew. The human ship sent a broadcast to every listening system. "We are human explorers. We do not seek territory. We do not claim authority. We will not demonstrate power for pride or fear. If you wish to know us, speak. If you wish to fight, we will defend, but only to protect life." The message was clear. Firm. Humble. Reactions were mixed. Some systems withdrew. Others watched more closely. No fleets arrived. Time passed again. Slower this time. Tension eased. Curiosity replaced fear in many places. Scifi felt a quiet joy at that. Not victory, but balance. The council made its final decision soon after. "Human vessel, you are invited to make limited surface contact." When Evan heard the words, he closed his eyes for a brief moment. Not in triumph, but in respect. "Thank you," he said. "We will send a small team, no weapons." Scifi was chosen as liaison. When the human shuttle descended through Lyrian's sky, Scifi stood on a wide landing platform near the ocean. Her legs felt weak. The air smelled of salt and light. The shuttle touched down softly. The door opened. Humans stepped out. They were not giants, not monsters, just people. Different shapes, different faces, cautious smiles. Evan walked forward first. He stopped at a respectful distance.
"Observer Sayali," he said, bowing his head slightly. "It's good to finally meet you." She looked at him, at his tired eyes and steady hands.
For a moment, she had no words. Above them, the human ship remained in the sky, alone, silent. And Sayali understood then that humanity's greatest strength was not the ship, or the weapons, or the technology. It was the choice to stand alone and still reach out. The meeting on the landing platform was quiet and careful. The humans did not rush forward. They did not touch anything without permission. They stood in the open air of Lyrian as guests, not owners. Sally took the first step. Her heart felt like it was moving too fast for her body, but she forced herself forward. Evan Brooks mirrored her movement, stopping when she stopped, keeping the space between them equal. "Welcome to Lyrian," she said at last. "Thank you for trusting us," Evan replied. That simple exchange carried more weight than any treaty. The council members watched from a distance. Guards stood ready, but relaxed. The ocean behind the platform moved slowly, its waves calm, as if the world itself was holding its breath. The humans were invited to walk. They did so with care, looking around with open interest. Some smiled at the wide sky.
Others paused to study the crystal hills in the distance.
"Your world is beautiful," Lisa Morrow said quietly. Sally nodded. "We have tried to keep it that way." Over the next days, the humans stayed only where they were invited. They asked questions before taking samples. They listened more than they spoke. They shared stories of their own world, not of glory, but of mistakes and lessons learned the hard way. Children of Lyrian were the first to lose their fear. They approached the humans with wide eyes and quiet curiosity. One human knelt to meet them at eye level, offering a small metal object that displayed moving stars. Laughter followed, soft and surprised. Sally watched these moments closely. She realized that the humans did not try to impress. They did not hide who they were. They showed strength, yes, but also patience, humor, and doubt. That honesty changed everything. News spread beyond Lyrian, not through fear this time, but through quiet reports. A single human ship had arrived. It had defended without conquering. It had spoken without shouting. It had left space for others to choose. More messages arrived from distant systems. Some asked for contact. Some asked for guidance. A few asked for alliance. The humans answered them all in the same way. "We will talk. We will not rule." This response confused many powers. Some expected demands. Others expected weakness. Humanity offered neither. Inside the human ship, Evan and his crew prepared for departure. Their mission was complete. They had made contact, protected peace, and proven their intent. Staying longer might change the balance they had worked so hard to keep. Sally felt the coming goodbye before it was announced. She had learned to read patterns, and this one was clear. "You are leaving," she said when Evan told her. "Yes," he replied. "Soon." She felt a tightness in her chest. "Will you return?" "If invited," Evan said. "And even then, probably alone." She smiled at that. Of course. The council held a final gathering. No grand ceremony. No loud speeches. Just shared words and shared space. The council leader spoke plainly. "You came without force. You acted without cruelty. You leave without claim. Lyrian will remember this." Evan bowed his head. "So will we." Before the humans departed, Sally was invited aboard their ship. The request surprised her and frightened her, but she accepted. The interior of the ship was simple and functional. No gold, no towering symbols of power, just clean lines, warm light, and signs of long travel. It felt lived in. Evan showed her the observation deck. From there, Lyrian filled the view, blue and green and bright. "This is how we see new worlds," he said. "Not as prizes, as possibilities." Sally pressed her hand to the glass. "You changed how we see the sky. You changed how we remember why we explore," Ivana replied. When it was time, the shuttle returned her to the surface. The human ship powered up slowly, announcing every movement. It rose from orbit with the same care it had shown when arriving. As it pulled away, a final message was sent to Lyrian and beyond. "We came alone. We leave alone. But we are no longer unknown." The ship folded space gently and vanished. Sally stood beneath the open sky long after it was gone. The stars looked the same, but she knew they were not. Somewhere out there, Humans traveled without fleets, without banners, carrying only their choices with them. In the years that followed, Lyrian changed. Not through war or force, but through confidence. They spoke more openly in galactic councils. They welcomed fewer fleets and more individuals. They remembered the lesson of one ship that had been enough. Stories spread. Some grew larger than truth, as stories often do. But at their core, they remained simple. A single human ship arrived. It did not take a world. It gave one a voice. And far above, among the endless stars, humanity continued its quiet journey, leaving behind not fear, but understanding.